Yo, it's Friday night, 9 p.m. sharp. You know what time it is.
Narcocop and Timmy T hitting you with that Lambo energy.
He's Mike by name, but the streets call Narcocop. Used to bust dealers, now he's busting long shots. Retired badge, now he's bad with the bets. Octagon fiend, cashing slips, no regrets. Friday night fights, Seki poured on ice. Lambo Plays podcast, breaking down the price. Got parlays, KO, subs in round 3. Split decision magic, cash it like a G. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KO's a B, round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big, LFG. Tim Troiano, lotion in hand. Tennis coach by day, fight fan of the land. Watching WMMA, yeah, you know the drill. Playing with himself, just joking, but still. Impressions fly, Katona in the house. Rosa's Jr. squeaking, Tim's loud like a mouse. Cornholio vibes, he's stealing the show. Narcos like bruh, but they still go toe to toe. Round 2 chaos, round 3 gold. Split decisions, bets unfold. Side case sipping, parlays lit. Lambo energy, never quit. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KOSOB, round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big, LFG.
Narcocop, Timmy T, Friday nights, yes. A Lambo Plays podcast, where long shots live large and splits hit harder. We out. We out. We out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Narcocop MMA. This is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 134, UFC Vegas 106. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. Timothy, 12 fights on this card. There's going to be a lot of lotion fights for you. Not a lot, but there's a couple for sure. Yeah, I mean, another back to this Apex card. I don't even know what to think of this card. I guess there's some good matchups in this card. From a Lambo perspective, again, not a card that I love, man. I don't know if these books are getting sharp with the lines or what's going on, but not much that I absolutely love here. But yeah, how are you doing, and how do you feel about this card?
Things are good. I think there's basically one lotion fight that I'm going to save myself for, get the lotion out. We all know what this one is. It's a competitor for lotion fight of the year. But yeah, and Dixon, we'll get to your post here in a little bit. It's funny when my Narco goes over them, we'll talk about it.
All right. Yeah. Let's go over the post. Let's go over the chat. First one is Elijah1. Let's go. Azure says she's laughing at Elijah1. Always thank you to Narcocop and Tim. Appreciate you. Sharp Boy says, let's go cook these bookies to the bone. Eric, let's get that cheddar. DA07 says, Tim, 3 Jurgens lotion fights in a row with Luana. How are we feeling? Yeah, look at that smile on the guy's face. That's the only thing that makes him smile. Like, he hates these UFC fights, I feel like. But every time there's a women's fight that he's interested in, he's all smiles. He's giggling in the chat. Like, what the heck is going on? Mushroom, what's up, my man? 19 hours until violence. But you were supposed to put the minutes and the seconds, Mushroom. You kind of messed up there. Daz, let's effing go, my friend. Uncle Wheezy, my uncle. Big up to Tim and Narco. Let's get this money. LJ AU Coin says, what's up, boys? Cash it. Don't trash it. What else do we have here? Dixon says, Narco and Tim, I'm in shambles. The only model I DM to invite to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the fights blocked me. The only thing that can save me now is hitting a Lambo parlay. Please save me.
Yeah, I mentioned this to him in a different chat. Like, here's the thing. Like, I have a couple of friends, a few friends. One's Buster Cherry is one of them. Haywood Blow Me, another one of them. These guys just they don't get, they get blocked a lot just from their names. So you might want to just change your name a little bit. Yeah, give it a shot.
I get it. For a long time, I never even mentioned his name because of what it was. But now I just kind of used to it. He's in there. He's in every freaking chat on YouTube. So the guy does make his rounds. So I'm not really surprised that he's making his rounds in the OnlyFans models DM as well. So, all right, Felipe, what's up, my friend? Shout out to you as well. Wahib, let's get this money. Oreo, what up, though? How are you doing? Lunars is in the house. Above the clouds. Yo, Narco, get Art on the guest line. I will get Art in one of these days. I'm not really putting guests. That's the thing. It's just kind of a show with me and Tim right now. Cone Peasy says, finally, get to catch a live. Appreciate you, my man. Rashid, live bet will be on fire tomorrow. Yeah, the live bets definitely have been on fire. All right, Tim, 128 in here. Let's start it off. First fight of the night. It is in a strawweight division. It is the 11-4 Luana Pinheiro versus the 14-7 Tisha Pennington. I will kick it off this week. Or wait, let me see. Nah, you know what? This is your type of fight. You can kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, this fight, we got Pinheiro, who seems to be some serious gas issues with her, and she's trying to grapple some heart issues. Obviously, she doesn't seem to compete and be super resilient through any type of adversity. And then you got Tisha Torres, who's not easy to take down. Going to throw out really good volume, pump up volume. She still is. She's kind of old. She's a mom, but she still seems to have it. I don't think she's like one of the mom fades that we've gotten before in some of these fights. So I just think that this is going to be a really tough matchup for Pinheiro. I think if you're on the Pinheiro side, you're going by I think she wins a greasy ass split decision is her only path. That's like 15-1, but I'm not on that. I'm going to go that Tisha can cook her late. Tisha doesn't finish her coffee in the morning, but I do think that she does throw hard enough and she does throw with enough pace and have enough pace and volume that it could be one of those situations attritionally where, Luana just basically just quits when she just keeps getting hit. So round 2, round 3, 19-1, 22-1, KO2, 30-1 or 31-1, KO3, 35-1. I think honestly, I think it's a decision, but it's going to take a quick job from Pinheiro, which is it's in the book. She's done it before.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the, lotion fights of the week, I guess you could say. I don't know how much interested you are in one side, but I definitely know you're interested on the other side. But Luana Pinheiro, she got good striking skills. She has decent power for strawweight, for WMMA early, right? And she's kind of dangerous early. You could see, she hurts a lot of girls early. She has finishes early, so we know she has power for the division, right? She has, looking at her record, it's quite insane for WMMA, but she had 6 first-round finishes in a row. Albeit, the opposition wasn't great. It's still hard to do in WMMA, and then she made it to the UFC, and, that first fight against Randa Marcos was iffy. She got a first-round finish, but not really her finishing. She kind of quit, and they gave her a first-round finish somehow. And in the other ones, Sam Yu's fight actually is probably her, I would say, maybe best overall performance. Maybe the Watterson was also good, but those are the two that she kind of didn't completely gas out, right? She still had a little bit of energy at the end. She still could go a little. That Ribas fight was incredible because I cashed around 3 KO on Ribas, which was absolute insanity. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised last fight she didn't get finished because there was a lot of grappling. She was on bottom a lot. She's getting hit a lot with elbows and shit, and we see how dangerous Robertson is on top, once she gets on top of you. So that kind of surprised me. The thing with Tisha Pennington's like, she looked awful her last fight, I have to say. Like, we have to put it in context too. Like, she got outstruck to the head against Carla Esparza in head strikes, which is quite mind-boggling. And then that's Carla Esparza coming into her last UFC fight, off pregnancy, off a 2-year layoff, you name it. And she barely squeaked by in that fight. She did not look great. So, here we are. The one thing that she has is good cardio, and there will be definitely a cardio advantage for Pennington. But, she's a little bit smaller than Pinheiro. And, I mean, what is there to play here? Like, honestly, like, it's Pennington 2-3 KO just because of the off chance this girl gives up, right? It's plus 1,900. But like you said, I don't see that happening. Honestly, I looked at like Pinheiro decision, to be honest.
Her split was 15-1.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like, she wins a lot of round ones, right? If she can kind of squeak in round 2, she's got to hit her really hard a couple times.
Like, it's got to be like one of those like Rob Font versus Aldo, where he's getting like 2-1. He's losing 2-1 in strikes, but just like big shots are coming and knockdowns are coming.
The thing is, she has 2 decision wins, Tim, in her UFC career, right? So, like, are you going to be shocked that she just can decision a girl like Pennington, who really doesn't have a lot of power coming back? Like,
I mean, the judges hate Pennington. I mean, the last couple fights, I thought she won both fights that she lost in split decisions. So, like, yeah. I really think that both. I mean, they were both, but at the same time, like Pinheiro, I thought Pinheiro lost to Watterson too. So, like, yeah,
I mean, this girl's 12-7 in decisions. Like, not like she's a lock to win decisions. So, I get it. I mean, I see her Pennington KO. 2-3. It's like fine, but I'm just, mine is going to be Pinheiro decision. It's just plus 500. It is what it is. If she can somehow squeak out 2 rounds and then survive round 3, I think that's probably the way to go. But yeah, I mean, I don't like anything in that fight as far as Lambo's considered. Fight number 2, it is in the flyweight division. It is the 9-0 Young Sung Park versus the 10-4 Carlos Hernandez. And I will kick this one off. Again, not much that I love here, man. Carlos Hernandez, pretty tough. He can scramble really well. He's got decent boxing. The issue I have with Carlos Hernandez is if you put a fly in front of him, he can't hurt her with his hands. Like, he's just kind of pitter-pattering, doesn't throw with a lot of power. If he had a little bit more power in his hands, I would think he's the side here, because I'm not really impressed with this Park guy who's been dropped in a couple of fights. He doesn't look great, but he's the bigger guy of the two by a good margin. When I saw him at face-offs, he didn't even look great against Shannon Ross early, and Shannon Ross is awful, right? It's one of those where I feel like Hernandez is the side like pre-flop, but the firepower is just not there. And the thing is with Hernandez, this is the thing. If he wins, he's winning a close split decision. That's it. I mean, look at the Tumen and Demberall fight. I thought he lost that, to be honest. He got dropped in 2 rounds. They didn't count one of them. I don't know why. He got dropped clearly. And this guy, if you look, when he's gone to decision, you're talking about 1, 2, 3 split decisions, So Hernandez by split plus 800. Like, I can't even give the split out here. It's like 3-1 or something crazy for men. So Hernandez by split, his win condition plus 800. That's what I'm going with, Tim.
Yeah, I'm on the same thing. Hernandez points is a used Corolla that has 50,000 miles on it at plus 210. So just throw the split in there at plus 800 and split plus 350. Do you think that there's a chance that he could get like a back take and a sub on Park? Because Park, not really.
The thing is, Park looks like a decent grappler from what I've seen. So
Yeah,
and he's gonna be a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger. If he couldn't sub that Tumen Dembaral guy, I don't know if he could sub this guy.
Yeah, it's a big line at 12-1. But I was just
was the one I was hoping I would get the sub because I played the sub on him in that.
Yeah,
Tumen Dembaral, and he had like a deep back take and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. Honestly.
Yeah, I'll just do the trifecta bet on the ends by split. Hernandez points, Hernandez split. Like I think the same thing. Like I just think like
Nevro says fully can, Tim. He thinks he can.
Yeah, I mean it's the thing is like I wasn't super impressed with like the grappling on Park. Like I think he's really aggressive with what he does down there. So that's why I thought the back take might be like something, or he could actually like maybe reverse, but. He's not he's kind of noodly and he doesn't really go for, it would have to be a big mistake. It's not something like he's going to get Park down, I don't think. And like, he's going to be the one that's, proactively progressing in different positions. So, yeah.
Yeah. Pre-flop is a peak terminology for pre-fight. Yeah, I know. I play way too much poker and everything is pre-flop for me, but yeah, pre-fight. I have to start saying pre-fight because
no, man, pre-flop, dude, all the time. Pre-flop is the way to go.
Pre-flop is that's yeah. I'm so used to pre-flop and yeah. So, all right, let's move on. Fight number 3. It is in the strawweight division. It is the 10-3 Denise Gomes versus the 8-4 Elise Reed. Tim,
all right.
Wait before you go on. Did you put the lotion away already?
For sure it's in the basket for this fight.
All right, it's in the basket. All right, guys.
No lotion.
Put it away. He put it away. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to save this for the next fight. The lotion has to be saved for the next fight. Yeah, I mean, you just got Elise Reed. Everybody knows kind of at this point what she is. If you're putting her against somebody that's not physical, that doesn't grapple, she can win. If you're putting her against old Jessica Penne, she can stuff takedowns, but someone with physicality, someone with any ground game whatsoever, and this is it's a big danger to bet on her. Obviously, the line is huge. Gomes, big power on the feet, can be a little bit gassy at times, can get taken down herself, but she's physical. I think she's physically stronger. I think she's clearly, if this fight hits the ground, I think that she's has the aggression to finish, either with ground and pound or with submissions. Yeah, so I'm going to take Gomes to cook her late, round 2 plus 650, round 3 plus 1200. Sub 2 is 1700. Sub 3 is 2800. I think they're both live. I think TKO on the ground is live too, but I just think it's possible. I mean, we've just seen Elise give up in both situations. She gives up a ground and pound. She gives up just terrible positions, gives up her back. Like there's lots of different ways that it could go once the fight hits the ground. Be interesting to see if Gomes tries to take her, is consistently trying to take her down, because if she isn't, like, I just think that the fight's way closer if she isn't. Like, if she isn't really, really proactively grappling, I think she is a better striker and she throws with more heat. But I think, like, Elise Reed standing has good power herself, and her boxing is pretty solid. So it's like, I think it's closer if it's 15-minute standing fight, and then you're looking at like Reed split is 18-1, so things like that. But I'll take the cooking her late for Gomes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I really like watching Reed. I don't really think her striking is all that. Honestly, I really don't. I mean, she's like a karate style fighter, and like, I just don't think that's going to work against a girl like Denise, who's going to be chucking big shots. I think she's the thing with Denise is here is I think she's way more physical, honestly, like way more physical. We've seen her slow down, obviously, in round threes, and she gets a little bit tired. But, man, she impressed me against Mora. Mora's a big strawweight. You know, she's huge for strawweight. And she missed weight in that fight against Denise Gomes. And, man, Denise was out-muscling her in the clinch a lot. Like, she was taking her down. You know, she was working her. I think the last two fights, honestly, Denise Gomes' body structure has changed. She's put on a lot more muscle. She's taken away the fat. I think she's kind of, you know, she's only 25. That's the one thing that people don't realize. This girl's only 25. Her fight IQ is probably getting better, right? If we watch her tape from the beginning of her UFC career through the last couple of fights, she's been fighting smarter, right? She's been doing okay. You know, like obviously round 3 against Carolina, it wasn't like the best. I think Carolina won that round on 2 scorecards. I don't remember exactly, but the thing is, Elise Reed just is not physical at all, in my opinion. And I think she can land. Also, the defense for Elise Reed, she keeps her hands way too far from her face because of the karate style. And I feel like Gomes is going to come over the top with something big, man, and land something big. So I won't be shocked if she knocks her out early. I won't be shocked if she knocks her out late. Obviously, the sub is also live because I think, you know, I've been playing her sub, and she's been very close to submissions, just not getting them. Here, the line's just not where it was. You know, she doesn't have a single sub in her career, Tim, and the sub is like only 6-1. It's like, what do you guys know that she's going to get a sub here or what? I went with just a KO. Initially, I wanted 2-3, but I'm like, she can start her in round 1. And Gomes does go for it big. It's plus 340. It's obviously not the best price for women's MMA at 115, but like from what I've seen, man, Gomes throws very hard. I think Elise Reed is there to be hit, and you know, she's been finished multiple times. You know, a couple of times by submission, a couple of times by KO. So you know, even Godonias, if you look at the Godonias fight, Godonias hurt her pretty bad on the feet, but then she went to grappling for whatever reason. So yeah, I mean, I think she can knock her out early. I think it could look very similar to Bruna Brazil fight where she just lands a big bomb and good night, right? So, yeah, I'm just going with KO, but I get your side of the 2-3 because historically 3 out of her last 4 losses are in rounds 2 and 3 for Elise Reed where she gets finished. So it makes sense. Let's see what chat's saying. Let's see. They said when Reed feels her power, she's going to crumble. I feel like that too. Raw Torque says Reed likes to lose by sub. She likes to lose by both of them, sub and ground and pound. Ground games is there. It doesn't help for the weight class. She can beat low level. Gomes is physical. Yeah, Gomes is way more physical. That's, I think, a big key in this fight. What else? All right, Tim, let's move on. Fight number 4. It is in the flyweight division. Sorry, it's in the bantamweight division. It is the 8-2 Luana Santos versus the 7-2 Tainara Lisboa. Tim, I have to give it back to you, even though it's my turn. I mean, I can't take these fights. Well, why would I go first for this?
We'll let you start the next 2 in a row then.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, dude, this is a contender for Lotion Fight of the year here. You have Luana Santos, which is just an absolute fucking smoke show, and the person that's never been seen in the same room as Christina Ricci, the actress in her heyday, in her prime, Tainara Lisboa. For me, I think this fight is kind of binary. I feel like striking, Lisboa has a significant edge. The striking defense and the technical striking from Santos is kind of funny. She just drops her head, closes her eyes, and just wings shots. Lisboa is way more technical. She's better. She's more dangerous in the clinch, striking wise. It's just a question of like who's going to be more physical, which is almost always the question in women's MMA. And I think that Santos is more physical. And I think that on the ground, I think that Santos is going to wreck her if she gets the fight down. And so I'm going to take a shot at Santos by sub at plus 500. But it's one of those fights where it's like, I do think it's possible that she could get like a positional TKO against her as well. It's like we always talk about these situations where, you know, Jillian Robertson recently against Marina, where you just get the fighter in a position where they're all right, well, they can't move, and now they're not turning their back because they can't, and their head's against the fucking cage, and now she's totally got mount and she's just raining shots until they stop the fight. Or they get the back and then they flatten them out and then they just strike until they stop the fight. So I'm going to go with sub, but I did see the KO2 and KO3 were 49-1 and 50-1. I do lean sub like 90-10, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I do think it is possible for a positional TKO if she does get the fight to the ground.
Yeah, man, this is I think this is a great comment here from Neville. Who makes more mistakes in this fight? The lesser will win by IQ. I feel like he's very right. Both these girls have terrible fight IQ, lose position multiple times in many, many fights that I watched, including the regionals. They just make a lot of mistakes, man. And, you know, when you look at them, obviously Luana Santos is the younger girl. She's only 25. Lisboa is up there, I think. Yeah, she's 34, so she's up there. But the thing you have to think about in this fight that is a little bit concerning, honestly, is, you know, when I look at Luana Santos, I don't think she should be fighting at 35, man. Like, I really don't. I know someone said she has a problem. I think it was a thyroid problem or something. I don't remember what it was, but she had some kind of problem. But, man, she's a little bit small for 25. I know that, you know, she fought Egger at 35 and she missed weight there by like a crazy amount of weight. But Lisboa is obviously the natural 35er. She's been fighting at 35. The one thing I will say is that is pretty embarrassing. And this is like, I don't even want to say pretty. I think it's very embarrassing. That girl that came on short notice looked much, much smaller than Lisboa last fight. That Oliveira.
Yeah, dude, that was getting taken care of later.
She was out grappling her later too. It's like, what the heck am I watching? That was a red flag, honestly, for Lisboa. The good thing for Luana Santos, even though she missed weight against Egger, who's a big 35er, she's not small. She was out grappling her, and Egger has like a judo background. She's a good jiu-jitsu girl. So I was kind of impressed with that. She got a late takedown against her. I agree with you, man. I have Santos sub. I think she's the better jiu-jitsu girl of the two. I want to say Lisboa is a purple belt in BJJ, while I think Santos is actually a black belt, if I'm not mistaken, in both judo and BJJ. And also I don't think the sub's early when they're both fresh. I think it's later. Sub 2-3 is plus 900. That's where I'm going here. I just think she's the better. They both make mistakes, but I feel like Santos is the better BJJ girl. And I think, you know, when I watch Lisboa and what she's doing against this girl, Oliveira, the Oliveira girl is getting to side control against her late and stuff. Like, I feel like those positions, Santos probably goes to full mount, you know, and finds probably a sub at some point. So, yeah, I just feel like this is on the feet. Like you mentioned, Lisboa is the better striker, obviously. She's fought Valentina in kickboxing a couple of times. And so, you know, she's a good striker. I don't think she's like anything like out of the world, like impressive, but she's not a Kung Wing on the feet. But, you know, she's a decent striker. But on the ground, I just feel like she makes way too many mistakes. And for her size, I don't really know why she was getting thrown around by Oliveira late. Maybe she was just tired. My friend Liam is in the house. What's up, my guy? Thank you for joining. He says, yes, it's a thyroid. So it is a thyroid problem. It is confirmed. Glenbot says Lisboa got injured in round 2 of her last fight and just had to make it to the end of the fight. Did she? What was the injury? I didn't even know that. See, that's why, Tim, we have the best chat in the game. Like, she had an injury apparently, and I didn't know that. I don't know what the injury was. Maybe Glenbot has a little bit more info on that, but yeah. Let's move on. Fight number 5. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 7-3 Connor Matthews versus the 8-0 Yadir Dalval. This one is one where I think Dalval is just going to KO him, man. When I look at Dalval, there's one thing that clearly sticks out to me. The guy has a lot of power. He's got good boxing skills. He actually has a long background in judo. He's a black belt in judo, he said. And he's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu, which I didn't even know that until his interview. But this dude has a lot of power in his hands. I don't understand how this Brazilian dude in Contender Series survived the absolute brutal beating that he put on that guy. I don't know how that guy survived. I really don't. But that dude's never been KO'd in his professional career. So we know he's tough. These other fights that have gone to decision with him, Eric Mercado was on death's door like 5 times in that fight. Michael Aswell was hurt in that fight. Alamov was hurt in that. He literally hurts almost every single guy that he's faced because he has a lot of power. And he pressures hard, Tim. He comes forward. He chucks bombs. And those are the things that Matthews doesn't like. He does not like pressure. He does not like guys with power. He does not like guys with volume. We saw it last fight where he just absolutely crumbled and got destroyed against Delgado. The one thing that is scary here is the fact that, Connor Matthews is probably going to try to grapple. I would think it's a similar game plan to what he did against Delgado. And Dalval has a very, very good guillotine. It's really good. It's very, very tight. It's very good. It could be where, he finds some kind of guillotine here. But I'm just going to go with KO here. That's what I've liked all week. I think he's going to find it on this guy. I think he's going to hurt him very, very bad. And I could see another scenario where, similar to Delgado, this guy shells up. He just shells up, and Dalval will just rain big shots down, and I think it's going to be over. So I'm taking the used Toyota Corolla, but it's only used for 1 year at plus 240 KO on Dalval. What do you have here, Tim?
There's great mileages on those Corollas. Yeah, I mean, I think I was scared of the guillotine. I'm scared of the club and sub here as well. I'm just praying that Connor Matthews can live for a round here and just survive. Please survive for 5 minutes, dude, and then just get cooked late. Round 2 plus 550, round 3 plus 800. Yeah, I'm scared of the sub, so I'm gonna take some round props instead.
All right. I was actually very impressed with Delval's cardio last fight because he threw the kitchen sink at this guy and he kept going for the finish later. And the other guy impressed me because he was so damn tough. I would honestly, that Brazilian, I would take him easily over Connor Matthews. I 100% would.
Yeah, 100%.
So, all right, let's move on. Fight number 6. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 20-7 Jared Gordon versus the 19-8 Thiago Moises. Go ahead, Tim.
This fight is, I think this fight's going to be interesting because I think you get one fighter who's pretty consistent with his performances and doesn't just have a huge ceiling, a huge high ceiling and a low floor in Jared Gordon. You kind of know what you're going to get with him. He's consistently going to come out and give all he's got. He's got a ton of volume that he's going to throw at you. He's not afraid of guys, he's not afraid of fights. And then you got Thiago Moises, who's got 30 stories to his ceiling and his floor with how well he can fight, depending on if he's fighting guys he's better than, if he loses his confidence, where does he go? Doesn't seem to really like getting beat up very much. Can kind of wilt against better fighters. So I just think this one's interesting from that standpoint. Striking wise, I think Thiago has good kicks. It's way too low volume for me in this fight to back him versus Gordon if this fight goes to a decision. I wanted to get I really don't like a lot of the props on this one. I think it's going to be a Gordon decision. And I think that if it does go to decision, I think it's probably likely that it's going to be unanimous. So I don't really like the split very much. So the only Lambo that I can find in this one really is the Moises by sub. If he's able to get him down, he does have very good jiu-jitsu. Gordon has good jiu-jitsu and a good ground game as well. But I think that he can be taken down. I think the wrestling of Joe Solecki is comparable to Moises. It's not great, not bad, slick to get back takes. Once they get to the ground, then they're both dangerous. So I think it'll be different. I think against Solecki, Gordon was more afraid of making any types of moves. I think in this fight, I think he'll actually maybe potentially try to get up and be a little bit more aggressive in his get-ups, because if he does, then he'll be able to do more damage on the feet. So give me Moises by sub, but I don't really like it, to be honest.
Yeah, man. I like Jared Gordon, man. I think he's looked much better lately. I personally think he got fucked against Hackbarth. I watched it again. I thought he won that fight. I honestly think he got robbed more in the Hackbarth fight, this is a hot take, than the Pimblett fight, to be honest, after on rewatch. I don't think the Pimblett fight was that big of a robbery like people make it out to be. I think people hate Pimblett, but when I rewatched it, I don't think it was that. I mean, yes, that I think Gordon won 100%. I don't think it was a robbery territory win. I think this Hackbarth one is definitely a robbery territory win, because it was, first of all, it was in the Middle East. We know this guy's connections to Morocco, and dude, Gordon was beating the shit out of him in round 3, and somehow some judges gave him round 3. The fuck was that bullshit? He had the way more visible damage. It was crazy for me to see that. Obviously now, Gordon, the one thing is of concern is his age. He's 36 years old, but if you look in these fights, Pimblett, Bobby Green, which ended early, Mark Madsen, and Nasrat Hackbarth, you will look at those 4 fights and say, this is the best he's ever looked in his entire career. And it's 100% not debatable. This is the best he's looked in the UFC career. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know what I'm saying? So as this guy has gotten older, it seems like he's gotten better. And so, when I look at Moises, I think he's very skilled. Listen, the guy has power. The guy has great BJJ. We know that. He's very, very high level. He's still only 30 years old. So he's got a ton of experience, right, for the UFC. But there's 2 things that come into play in this fight for me. One is I don't like his volume. He's very low volume. He's looking for one big shot all the time. He's trying to kill you with a big hook, and those big leg kicks, right? The second thing that I don't like with Moises is, dude, this guy's allergic to pressure. He does not like pressure. Listen, Benoit Saint-Denis is a pressure fighter. He finished him, right? Same thing goes for Joel Alvarez. He finished him. I'm not saying people will look at it and say, well, Jared Gordon's not a finisher like that guy. I say, no, he's not. But he's a high pressure, high volume type of guy. He's going to mix in takedowns. He's going to make your life hell. He's punching you, kicking you, doing whatever to make you uncomfortable. And when you look at the fight against Trey Ogden, Tim, right? Trey Ogden was fighting on one leg. He tore his bicep in that fight. He was cooking Moises. Moises easily won round 1. He was absolutely cooking him in round 2. Round 3, he comes out, starts landing a bunch of shots, gets an easy takedown, goes for a back take, falls off, and the fight's over. Now Moises is on top, right? So that fight, Moises did not look good, bro, against a guy in Trey Ogden that's not really a pressure fighter. He's a points fighter that's kicking you, that's throwing a little bit of punches. You know, he's not. I just feel like that Jarrett Gordon can possibly cook him late, man. I really do believe that. And Gordon round 2 is 2,100. Gordon round 3 is 2,500. I think the cook job is coming. I'll be honest with you. You know, at these prices, I think this might be one of my favorite bets on the card, like as far as props at these prices, because 2,100 and 2,500. And when I look at Moises' body language in some of these fights late, he's not looking very fucking good, man, against these pressure guys. So hopefully Gordon can bring the pressure. Hopefully Gordon, you know, stays away from getting his leg blasted off by those big kicks from Moises and just pressures him, man. Pressures him. He's got the better cardio. That's for sure. So let's see what happens. I like 2-3 here. Plus 2,100, plus 2,500. Let's move on. Fight number 7. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 9-2. Matteo Kameo versus the 11-5. Gabe Green. Timothy, what do you like here?
I think this one's you. I did last.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you went. Okay. So, you know, listen, Gabe Green, he looked incredible at weigh-ins. He's down at 55. He looked absolutely shredded, in very, very good shape. You know, this guy is, when is the last time this guy fought at 55? It's been a while. Yeah, 2018. 2018 is the last time this guy fought at 55. So it's been a minute. He's coming back down there, you know, in the UFC, for whatever reason, he fought at 70, and I thought it's kind of stupid, right? You know, this guy's taking a 2-year layoff, which is a lot. He's coming off an ACL or some kind of knee surgery. He's a pastor now, which all these things are like red flags in a way. He's off a 2-fight losing streak. The one thing I will say is he's lost to 2 good guys. You know, Ian Gary, no shame in that. Brian Battle, kind of no shame in that, even though he got knocked out early. I watched a video of his. It's funny. He broke down exactly, and he says, you know what? I think what I did was actually really good. I made one mistake and I got caught. He goes, but he went over the video and he actually was landing some very good shots on Battle. You couldn't see it in the chaos, but when he slowed it down in the video, he actually landed some nice shots on Battle, and he was pressuring him. And his whole point was, he said, my whole game plan was to not stay at range with this guy because he had very good kicks. He's a lot longer than me. Everything made sense from a perspective of his, right? When I bet Gabe Green there, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You got knocked out. Like, what are you doing rushing like that? But when he broke it down, it actually made sense, dude. Like, he's a lot shorter. He's a smaller guy. He's going to get kicked to oblivion from the outside against Battle. So he said, I tried to make it a chaos and in close range in a fight that I think I can win in close. I'm the better in close boxer. I thought I could win, but he says, I made one mistake. I dropped my hand. I got caught. I got knocked out. Anyways, here he's fighting a guy, a newcomer in Matteo Kameo, who, you know, this guy is 24. He's green. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He's got sneaky jiu-jitsu, very, very, very fast arm bars off his back, man. These arm bars are like ultra quick. He goes for them, and he latches on really, really fast. He's done it in a lot of these fights. Even in the fights that he doesn't get him, he's actually has arm bars, and he's super, super dangerous off his back. What I don't like about Kameo is he's trying to throw and hit a home run in every single one of his shots. He's trying to get a KO. He's over swinging his hooks. You know, all these things are not great in the UFC. You're going to get countered a lot. You're going to get out volumed a lot, you know, and in the UFC, it's a lot harder to knock out people, right? So this is a guy that the background is, I don't know if people know this. It was the one press conference that this last guy that fought Nabatov was in the press conference. I think it was somewhere in the Middle East. And Dana White was answering questions. And this guy comes up to ask a question to Dana White and says, hey, he says, hey, this is my name. I'm 8-0. Give me a shot in the UFC. This is all he says. He's like, give me a shot. And then Dana White calls him up to the stage and he says, okay, you know, this, he's talking to him. He goes, okay, you know what? I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to give you a one fight shot. If you win this fight, you're getting into the UFC. They give him the one fight. It's in Korea. I have to go to the story because it's funny. It's in Korea. It's on what's his name's card? The Korean Zombies card. He's actually a promoter in this organization. And he's fighting Matteo Kameo. They bring in Matteo Kameo from the US to fight him. And the crazy part is, Tim, this is why I want to say the story. I don't think this guy was going to be signed even if he won. Do you want to know why? Because Korean Zombie told Dana White that this fucking guy was a huge problem the entire fight week. He wanted more cornermen. He wanted more tickets or something. He wanted more guys, I don't know, in press con, whatever the bullshit he wanted. He said he kept on giving request upon request like he was some world champion. And so Korean Zombie related that to Dana White. And the one thing that Dana White hates, whether you're talented or not, is to mess with the promotion, mess with the workers and stuff. We saw what happened to Makayev. That's all because he was apparently an asshole behind the scenes, right? To be the workers. So I don't think this guy was even going to get a shot if he won. I don't think he was going to get signed because of that. Anyways, my point is Matteo Kameo went in there. He won a decision. I don't think he looked great in that fight, to be honest. This Nabokov guy is a wrestler. He got him down a couple of times. He actually landed some decent shots on Kameo. He didn't look very impressive in that fight, honestly. He looked okay, right? This is a long-winded story, but I think Gabe Green is live to win a decision here, honestly. I think he has the experience. He has the volume edge. I think he's probably going to be stronger here just because, dude, the guy's coming down from 70. He's used to facing 70-pounders, and he looks in exceptional shape. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm going with pricing, right? And the pricing here, you know, Gabe Green by decision, it's, I think 6.5 to 1, or no, 6 to 1. Sorry, 6 to 1. You know, fight ends in split, Tim, 6.5 to 1. I honestly think there's a chance this fight goes to decision. I think the KO or the end, you know, ITD is minus 185 seems a little too high. You know, yeah, did this guy get knocked out last fight against Battle? Sure, but historically in the UFC, it's been very tough to get him out of it. So, excuse me. So I don't think it's going to be that easy for Kameo. And the way he swings, these over-swinging bullshit, yeah, I don't think that's going to work in the UFC. I think he needs to tighten it up. And, yeah, but the dude is talented. He has a lot of power. Let's see how he does. You know, he's that extreme. So, Tim, long-winded. I had to tell that story. It's hilarious because this Nabokov guy was never getting signed. Go ahead.
Yeah, we end up on basically the same plays. I like the trifecta here as well. End split, Gabe points, Gabe split, 18 to 1 for Gabe split. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that I think that Gabe could also sub this guy. Like, Gabe's got good jiu-jitsu. And I think that this guy's like jiu-jitsu is very offensively dangerous and defensively irresponsible. Like, I think that he goes for so many subs, and when he does that, he like makes a lot of mistakes in allowing guys to pass, get to different positions on him that normally if he played it a little bit safer in or tried to like sweep or get back up, then he would he'd have more success. I also think that for the decision prop, the sub is like 8 to 1 too. So I think if you like that, like I think it's a pretty good line. But I'm with you on the points. I think that the pressure and the volume from Gabe, if he survives the big shots, I just think that I just didn't like what I saw on Kameo, like accepting the back foot against some of the fighters that I was seeing him fight. Like he would back up, get space. He didn't really like pressure that much. If guys were kind of chicken against him, then he would go into the battle. But yeah, I liked the pressure from Gabe. I think I love this weight class for him. I don't think that the chin is like the issue. Like I don't know. I think that punch knocks out a lot of guys, and he, like you said, he just got caught. He's been dropped against different guys as well, but I think his durability has typically been pretty solid. So I think he's now going to be in a situation where he's the bigger guy for the first time in a long time. So yeah, give me Gabe by decision. I like that as well. Gabe split, or ends by split, but that sub line is tempting me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Gabe Green could be 1 foot out of the game. I don't know. It could be, but he's still not old. That's the thing though, man. He's only 32. So like if he was 35, 36, I would definitely say, this is probably it. But the guy's still young, man. He's not that old. Yeah, honestly, 32 is probably in your physical prime. So anyways, let's move on. Fight number 8. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 31-11 Julian Arosa versus the 23-7 Mel Costa. This one's yours, Tim.
This should be a very exciting fight. I've gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on this one, so I'm not super confident in the play. But I ended up on Arosa round 2, round 3, just from the fact that listen, I get that this fight could go 10 different ways. Like it could go to a decision. One of these guys could win a clean decision. One of these guys could easily knock. I think Costa could knock out Arosa. I think Arosa could win by submission. I think Arosa has better cardio. I think Mel Costa goes a lot for he's better kicker than power puncher. So I just think if Arosa seems to be one of those guys to me that's and he's been knocked out in round 2 and round 3, but I think 6 of his 8 knockout losses are in round 1, and they're almost instantaneously one of the first shots that he takes. He seems to be one of those guys that if he can get hit a few times, he can get into fights and he can actually take shots. But if he can't, then you get him. But he's shown that if he's alive,
basically if you can catch him cold, right?
Yeah. He seems to if he takes a few shots, he seems to be actually more durable than the narrative is on his chin, that he's Shannon Ross or fucking Malcolm Gordon. I just think that he eventually starts to get into the fights, and then he starts to be able to take more. And that's why he can cook guys late. So yeah, Mel Costa impressed me in his last fight. I don't know if it was as much as him fight. He fought really well against Christian Rodriguez. I thought Christian Rodriguez's strategy in that fight was really questionable. But yeah, I just think that there's grappling upside for both of these guys. I think that if Costa can stay safe on a takedown and get off of a guillotine, then he could potentially have some top time. But I think that the guillotine on Arosa is elite and his squeeze is elite. So he better not shoot a shitty takedown, which I actually think is very possible in round 2 or 3 when he gets tired. The more Costa grapples, he kind of seems to have very inconsistent cardio. Sometimes it holds up, other times he's gassing pretty bad. So I don't know which version of him you're going to get, but if you get the Steve Garcia, I'm trying to grapple you really, really hard, and I think he could gas out, and Arosa could catch him late. So give me Arosa 2-3, 950, 1600.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Mel Costa, I had him last fight against Christian Rodriguez. I don't think there was many people on him last fight, honestly. Everybody was on C-Rod. I thought that physicality, what the hell is this camera thing? This is annoying with this focus stuff. I thought the physicality, for Costa was going to come into play. It did, it did. He kind of out-grappled C-Rod, but I will say that he was very, very tired in round 3. He looked extremely tired at the end of that fight. It was pretty high-paced, I would say, because a lot of grappling, a lot of clinch work, stuff like that. But one thing that caught me in that fight, Tim, is that I want to say it was, let me make sure because I don't want to misspeak, but I want to say it was round 2, but it could have been round 3. Christian Rodriguez had a deep, actually it was round 1. Sorry, it was round 1. Christian Rodriguez had a deep darce on him. It was very deep. But the problem is Christian Rodriguez just never finishes those. He always gets them on fighters, but his arms are so short. That's the thing. He doesn't have those long arms to kind of like latch on and just close it up. He doesn't have those. And in that same position that Costa was in, because it was a deep darce, if that was Arosa, it's a wrap. It's good night. And Arosa's known for that. Arosa's known for his guillotines and front chokes. Like, he is the nastiest guy, they say, at Extreme Couture with those. So, you know, I do think the pressure, the volume from Arosa, I think that's going to make Costa shoot. He's going to wrestle, in my opinion. And in those sequences, I think there's going to be opportunities for Arosa to catch him with that darce. The one thing that I realized, too, with Arosa, which is, it's fucking crazy. I didn't know this until I like looked into it a little bit more. But he has 1, 2. Hold on a second. Let's see here. 2. Where is it? 3, 4, 5. He has 6 fucking darces in Bravo and those front chokes. And most of them, Tim, are in like fucking the second and third round. That's the crazy thing. It's like a lot of them are round 2, round 3, round 2, round 3. Guys are shooting these ugly takedowns and they're getting darced. And so I'm playing the Arosa sub here at 440. He said in his interview, you know what he said, Tim? He said, I know this guy. I saw what he's done. He goes, he's going to shoot on me. He's going to make a mistake, and I'm going to get him with a darce. That's exactly what he said. He said, I'm going to darce this guy. And he was very confident. He's like, I'm going to darce this guy. I've seen him. He puts his head there. He does it against me. He's going to get darced. So he called his shot. Sub is, like I said, it's 440. I think, Tim, it happens late. I think it's sub 2-3. Like I mentioned right now, that's 9-1. Yeah, I just feel like he's going to get subbed here. Arosa, you know, is he live to KO him too? Sure. I think he can KO anybody. He hits hard. He can get KO'd himself, right? We just said that. But I just feel like Costa, as he tires, he's going to try to grapple. He's not going to want the pressure. And I think he's going to put himself into one of this bullshit spot where you don't want to put yourself like in that spot against this guy. So sub 2-3 again, 9-1. I don't think that's bad at all. Let's move on.
Somebody in the chat, Matt Norton, was saying he looked terribly slow versus Elkins. I think he looked slow, but I also think like, what are you worried about with Elkins? Like, he's not, the only thing that he's doing is just waiting until he comes in close to hit him. It wasn't like I'm going to really go super aggro versus this guy and get close and allow him to take him out. He got instantly taken down in the first round. Like, it was just like, I think that he was, after that happened, he was just like, dude, I just stay away and I don't need to be quick versus him. Like, you could be glacially slow and still beat Elkins in a race.
I agree with you. Matt, I said that. I said he looked awful. Arosa looked god awful. But here's my thing. When you look at him, like, historically, his last some fights, he hasn't looked like that. So, you know, do we just take it off one sample and say, okay, maybe he was off, maybe he was sick, maybe he was something? I don't know. So I can't, like, completely say he's going to come out and look the same now just because of one fight, his last fight, where, yes, he looked slow to me. He looked very, very slow. He didn't look right.
Sorry to interrupt. This is also Costa's like third fight in 3 months.
Yeah, he's fighting a lot. He's cutting a lot of weight.
Like,
wait, Arosa has horrible volume.
No way.
What are you talking about, Jones? This is the wrong guy you're talking about, buddy. Like, that's definitely not true. Arosa has very good volume, man. That's the opposite. Arosa has a really good volume. the thing with Costa that I don't like, he doesn't use his hands much, bro. It's all kick, more kicks, one more kick, another kick. And so he's a kicking guy. He doesn't really have very good hands. Like you see when they were throwing hands, him and Rodriguez, he wasn't looking comfortable throwing hands. He's just not. He's not comfortable throwing hands.
It's all stylistics too. It's like you take like the Alkins fight versus Arosa. I've already mentioned that, but like you mentioned Tisha Pennington like getting outstruck to the head versus Carla. It's like, yeah, but again, like her hands are at her hips because she's worried about a takedown every single minute, and you have to worry about that as well as the strike. So of course she's going to get hit more. Like it's all stylistic. Like there's certain situations where you're like, well, why does this happen? And that this shouldn't happen in this fight. But it's just like fights are fights, man. You can't predict every single thing that's going to happen.
Listen, takedowns are going to be free for Costa. It's a matter of he doesn't get subbed while he's doing it. 100%. And also, I do like the get-up game from it's very hard to hold Arosa down. He's got long limbs. He's constantly attacking subs. He's not easy to go. He kicks you off. He did mention, he said he thought he had many chances to sub Elkins. He said, but I've watched so many of his fights, and he's been in so many deep guillotines and anacondas and darces that he always rolls out of them, gets out of them. He goes, and I just didn't want to do that and blow my arms out, and this guy will end up on top, and he doesn't stop, you know. So he goes, I knew on the feet I can KO this guy, so I didn't even bother. He had a lot of positions if you look at it. Like he had an easy dart. He never went for it. He's like, fuck that. He goes, this guy's just way too gritty and way too good of getting out of these chokes that I'm just not going to go for it. So the one thing I will say too, important, is when you watch tape on Arosa, one thing that sticks out, he gets head kicked a lot. He gets head kicked a lot. A lot of the times he's getting hurt and knocked out are head kicks. And Costa has very good kicks. So if there was a bet, they give me a big price on head kick KO, I would chalk it off and bet it for sure. But yeah, let's move on. Fight number 8. It is fight number 9. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 35-9-2 Nursultan Ruzaboyev versus the 16-6 Dustin Stoltzfus. Is this one yours, Tim, or mine?
Yours.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So this one here, it's actually intriguing because I watched Stoltzfus and he moves like a bot, man. He like just the way he moves is like it's like mechanical, right? Everything even the punches, the way he throws them, there's no speed. It's like very mechanical style. And his defense is god awful, man. He leaves his hands out here. He's getting hit. Like listen, Ferreira landed an absolute fucking howitzer of an elbow. He still survived it. And then he got hit with another one later and then eventually got finished, right? Abus literally kicked his face off, bro. That was the nastiest front kick. It was literally the same kick that what's his name?
Like he put his toe in his mouth. It was like his toe is fully like he ate his toe.
It's the same kick that Ferguson ate, but Ferguson got knocked out cold. This was the same fucking kick. He actually got dropped, like he wasn't out. It was the follow-up shots that finished him, you know? So, like, when you look at this guy, I think he has a very good chin, honestly. He has a really, really good chin. Those instances of him being knocked out are just insanity, bro. It's a front kick to the face. It's a spinning elbow by a fucking madman like Bruno Ferreira. I think his chin is actually really good. And I think he can, possibly take some big shots from Ruzaboyev. Ruzaboyev has a lot of power. Like his right hand, he's got a lot of power. He's moving up to 85. But I think Dustin can take him, and Dustin can take him down, dude. Listen, his wrestling is not great. But if he gets his hands clasped, you are going for the ride, man. He's strong. He's very, very strong. And he's given multiple fighters rides. Like, he gave a ride to Soriano, who's a very good wrestler. Like, it's not easy to take him down. He gave a ride to multiple people. Like, he picked up and slammed Joe Pyfer. Like, literally picked him up like a ragdoll and slammed him. And guy gave him the injury, basically, So, I think he can land takedowns here. I think he can win minutes here on top. The thing with Rizaboyev is he's so long, he finds ways to survive and survive and survive. Like, you can get him in deep spots. He gets out. He's long. He attacks subs himself. I don't think he's the best jiu-jitsu guy, by the way. I think that in jiu-jitsu, like in jiu-jitsu competition, Stoltzfus would rinse him easily. I think he's a way better jiu-jitsu guy. It's that he's so long. It's so hard to get past his limbs. You know, he's constantly butterflying and doing this. And so I'm just going to go with Stoltzfus' decision here. 7-1, Tim. 7-1 on Stoltzfus' decision. I think this guy has decent power. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's got some decent top time. He's been in his decisions. He's 6-2, so he wins a lot of them. Meanwhile, the other guy is 2-7 if the fight hits the scorecard. So, 7-1 Stoltzfus' decision. The only thing I'm afraid of is I feel like if Stoltzfus gets on top, he might get some sub opportunities, which is around the same price. It's around 7-1 as well. So I looked at both of them. I went with decision instead.
Same boat, bro. Same boat on this one. How do we bet Eric McConaughey to win by decision against Rizboev and not go back to the fucking well with a way, 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 way better fighter in Dustin Stoltzfus? That's like, I just kept telling myself, there's just no way. You can't go the one and not do the next. More durable fighter, better striker, way better wrestler, more physical, better jiu-jitsu. Like, every box is checked. Except for speed versus McConaughey for Dustin Stoltzfus for me. So, where I agree that you're saying the sub could set up for Stoltzfus, right? Not for Rizboev.
Right, for Stoltzfus.
Stoltzfus. I agree with that. I just think that, like you're saying, I think that Rizboev is like, he's one of those guys that he'll play off of his back so much that I think a lot of time will be wasted. Could he advance positions? I think he could, but I think of all of the guys that are wrestling him and getting him down in his regionals, they're good grapplers and they're not subbing him. I just think he tends to stay pretty safe, even though he's throwing up like fucking Kimura sweeps like 90% of the time. So yeah, give me Stoltzfus points plus 700, Stoltzfus split plus 2,200. So like those.
All right. Yeah. I mean, listen, the guys he's fighting, they're good wrestlers, but they're not good jiu-jitsu guys, right? They take you down, but none of them are really good, like, jiu-jitsu guys. They're like Dagestani wrestlers, right? And those guys usually just lay on top, throw a little bit of ground and pound. They really don't finish by sub, you know? So yeah, I think that's probably been part of the reason why he has only been subbed once in like 50 fights, you know? So, all right, let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 13-4 Sodiq Yusuff versus the 15-1 Marion Santos. This one's yours.
I don't get this line. I don't get this line. This line just is confusing as shit to me. For a few different reasons. Obviously, we haven't seen Sodiq in a while, but like, I just think that Sodiq is significantly better than Francis Marshall in every respect. And we just saw what Francis Marshall just did in that fight. I think that the fight, I will say this will be kind of my hot take. I do think that fight was a really, really bad decision, but the fight was, I think, closer than what I remembered with Francis Marshall versus Santos. Like, it was closer than, like, it's not like robbery of the year, like Carlos Leal and that shit. I thought that, like, there's been worse decisions this year. That being said, like, Sodiq going up to 155 is something that you could actually conceive of, and Sodiq fighting at 135 is something you can't ever conceive of. And Marion Santos, you could conceive of him fighting at 135. Like, so you have one dude that's like, could be a big 135er and he's a small 145er, and now he's fighting at 155. And you have him getting absolutely mauled by Dan Argueta at 135 and getting just raped on the ground. I just think that's, to me, it's just like Sodiq is not a I think there's like a bunch of different narratives on him that are off. Like, I don't think that him getting knocked out by fucking Diego Lopez, that's like a sign of his durability is gone. Like Diego Lopez is fucking killing everybody. Like he knocked down Volk. He instantly knocked down Brian Ortega. Like, and he had Sadiq in a huge shot in the clinch. So like, I just don't think that that's a sign of him being chinny or anything of the sort. I do think that he does get hit, and he's been hit by guys and been hit really hard and been dropped. That's obvious, but I don't think it's like, oh, dude, this guy's got Arosa like chin. You know what I'm saying? Where, oh, he's going to get knocked out for sure in the first round. So yeah, and then when you add in the striking to me is like volume, power. Both guys have power. Volume, I think, is on the Sadiq side. Size and physicality, and strength and physicality and wrestling and jiu-jitsu by far on the Sadiq side. Yeah, I think if he gets this fight down to the ground, I think that the sub is super live. I just think that it also could get ground and pound and get just a great position. I just think the physicality in this fight could be just huge. We saw what Francis Marshall did. I think like from a physicality and strength standpoint, I just feel like Sadiq, if you're just going pure wrestling, grappling, I think that Sadiq would do fine against Francis Marshall. Like, so give me Sadiq ITD plus 500, Sadiq by sub plus 1200.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't argue with you as far as resume, as far as, talking about who these guys are losing to, who they're fighting. I can't argue with you. Like, there's no argument. And, Sadiq coming off a KO loss, I think he was injured. He had to get some kind of surgery. What is it?
Back injury.
Or something. Yeah. So he was injured. And now he's fighting Marion Santos here. At 55, we have to say that these guys are moving up to 55. I think Sadiq, when I looked at weigh-ins and face-offs, I think Sadiq is the one that kind of filled in better at 55. I feel like Santos kind of pushed it here. I don't think he should have been at 55, but we are here. We're fighting at 55. I think there's a big speed edge, to be honest, for Santos. That's the one thing that stuck out, like the counters, the hand speed. I think it's a little bit faster on the Santos side. The Marshall fight was a terrible look. I don't know how they gave him the fight. Somehow he won by split there. It was pretty bad. Even the Edwin Cooper fight, he didn't look great. Like, he won by split there. And Edwin Cooper, people know, like in that Ultimate Fighter, like he was drunk half the time. He was fighting drunk. Literally, the guy was drinking 24/7 in the Ultimate Fighter house, in the Tough House. So, he won that by split. And, he came and he looked great against Offley, right? He destroyed Offley. He stuffed takedowns. But Offley is awful. He shouldn't be in the UFC. So now this is a monster step up. And, the one thing that sticks out to me with Sadiq is he does get hurt a lot. He gets hurt a lot in fights. He gets, dropped, finished in some instances. But I don't really think like Santos has Diego Lopez's power. Like, if you're telling me, I think his speed is there. He's got very fast punches. He's got good counters. But I also think Sadiq can hurt him. And we saw Marshall drop him. Sadiq has a ton of power in his hands as well. I think people are writing that part off. And I think Sadiq early on is extremely dangerous. He throws with big shots. He's going to throw those big looping hooks, the one that's similar that Marshall landed and dropped him. The difference is Sadiq has way more power than Francis Marshall on the feet. So I do think that Santos wins this fight, to be honest. I'm not laying the price, the juice. But KO 1-2 on Sadiq is 11-1. 11-1 on Sadiq. I think, bro, this guy is super dangerous. We saw what he did to Barbosa early. Early on, this guy can clean your clock big time. He's very, very dangerous. Listen, I won't be shocked if he gets countered and hurt himself in round 1 and finish. But I think his number is 11-1, round 1 and 2, and that's all by KO. And I think, I think he can find it here. I really do. Marion Santos is good, but this is a monster step up for this kid. It's a monster step up. And by the way, Extreme Couture has a bunch of guys on this card for whatever it's worth. I think there's like 4 extreme couture guys on this card. Go ahead, Tim. You were saying something?
Yeah, I really want to see what I obviously he's coming off of a back, so he probably won't grapple and wrestle as hardly at all. But I really want to see him like try get this fight to the ground. Like I just challenging, like having the size and having the physicality, and like you're saying, like one of these guys has fought at 135, and one of these guys fought at 135 when they were 16 years old. Like I just think that there's a big edge, and I think that the jiu-jitsu edge. I think that Sadiq, you just don't see him do it. I think he's got very good jiu-jitsu. Like, so it's one of those things where it's like, I just want to see him get him to the ground and use that edge. But I agree that the striking is like way, way, way closer than the line is saying.
All right, let's move on. Fight number 11. It is the co-main event of the night, and it is in the light heavyweight division. It is the 17-9-1 Paul Craig versus the 12-2-1 Rodolfo Bellato. Tim. Well, it's me actually, right? It's me. Fuck, man. Like this Bellato guy is an absolute madman. Like I wanted to think that this could look like Ozdemir, but I don't think it can, because Ozdemir fights kind of more on the outside. He's not as aggressive. He's not as hittable as this guy. There's a lot of things that are different. Bellato is just a madman, man. He gets hurt in every fight. He hurts his opponents in every fight. It's like a fucking absolute barn burner with him every single fight. We saw it last time. He was almost finished against Jimmy Crute. Then he came back on Jimmy Crute. He got 10-8'd in that first round, like bad. He was getting fucking mollywopped. And then he came back and won the next 2 rounds and got a draw. Ihor Pretoria had him on death's door. It was literally on death's door. Somehow he survives. And then he finishes Ihor Pretoria. So the thing with Paul Craig is he's just not dangerous on the feet, man. He's got no power. Not really dangerous. His danger is off his back. I guess I could see a scenario where Bellato drops him and then goes in their guard and gets armbarred or something stupid, because Bellato has fight IQ of a peanut. But I think he knocks him out. I really do. Maybe not round 1 because he's scared of the grappling, get taken down. I think 2-3 KO plus 270. Most likely just round 2 KO, to be honest. Not even 3, but I went 2-3 KO plus 270. There's not much else to say here. I think Bellato should never be this type of price, honestly, minus 400s, because he's a fucking ticking time bomb. He gets hurt every fight. He makes stupid errors every fight. He's not very smart. You name it, right? And, if Craig is in some good positions, he might be able to find a sub. But I do think Bellato finishes him, man. He hits too hard, and Craig is not a guy that likes pressure like that. He really doesn't. So, I think KO most likely here, 2-3 plus 270.
Yeah, nothing to add. Really, Paul Craig is a guard pulling kicker. From the striking, all he does is kick and throw leg kicks, and then he pulls guard and has shit wrestling, and that's it. Like, nothing really to add other than Bellato seems to me to be like a Brazilian dad from The Incredibles. Like, he just seems to have that same face. I don't know. Every time I see him, I just think that. But that's the only thing I have to add. KO round 2, round 3, plus 370, plus 650. Yeah, I think he probably kills him in round 1. So
yeah, I kind of hope Craig just armbars him off bottom or something, dude. I really do. I like Paul Craig, but I don't know. He's saying that this is his last fight of his contract. If he loses, he's done. Not that he's going to quit. The fact that he's saying he's probably going to get cut, right? And also, the other thing is, like, he's moving back up to 205 here. He's been like a yo-yo, 185, 205, all over the place. He did say that the cut is too much for him. He is a big guy. Like, he's tall and stuff. So it could be, it could be that. But, yeah, the guy is kind of past his best days, the heydays of getting murdered for 2.5 rounds and then finding an armbar off your back. So, what's funny before I move on to main event, Tim? You look at this guy, right? And he's 17-9-1, never sniffed like top 10 or anything like that, right? But then you look and you're like, what the fuck?
2 wins over 2 champs.
No. Listen to this. Listen to how funny this is. Magid Ankalaev, the champion, he beat. Jamal Hill, contending for belt, he beat. Nikita Krylov up there, he beat. It's just crazy the guys he's beat, dude. 3 guys that are in the upper echelon of the division, he's beat them. But then when you look and you're like, oh, Johnny Walker knocked this guy out, Alonzo Menefield put him in another planet. And then Tyson Pedro killed him. So yeah, it's been a yo-yo career for this guy, but yeah, I mean, he is the GOAT of 205, we have to say, and 185. All right, before I move on to the main event, 433 live viewers, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like down below. It helps the algorithm. It helps whatever the hell YouTube is looking for. Comment on the video after it drops, please. That also helps the algorithm. Yeah, all those things help. You guys subbing to my channel helps. You guys being here in chat helps a lot, so I appreciate everyone. I do have the best chat, man. Love you guys. Love everybody in here. And with that being said, Tim, oh yeah, well, you could join my Discord if you want to. That's the last thing. That's the last of your worries. It's down below. Link is down below. That's enough of that. All right, main event of the night, Tim. It's in the welterweight division. It is the 22-8 Gilbert Burns versus the 17-0 Michael Morales. This one's yours.
Sorry if there's a buzzing here. My refrigerator's buzzing right now, so apologize to the people. Yeah, I mean, this fight is it's kind of a stupid line. There's no question about it, but I think that they're looking at some different factors. I think that this fight was 3 rounds. The line would be way, way, way closer. The fact that it's 5 rounds, you're just giving the win condition for Gilbert Burns is just that much harder. Being able to get top time and being able to get control time against somebody as physical and as strong as Morales. I also think that Gilbert Burns, like, don't get me wrong, like, dude, the guy's got like world class. He's a world champion in jiu-jitsu, like fucking ever, however many times he's however many stripes, black belt he is. I just think that his finishing of subs in the MMA world is like slightly overrated. Like he's gotten guys that are just absolute non-grapplers, and he's had entire fights where he hasn't gotten subs or sniff subs against them. Like, I feel like he goes for position. I think put him in a gi, put him in those different situations. I think where you can't strike. Okay. I think I think things change, but I just think that it's slightly overrated for where everybody's like, okay, this guy's the best, the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in many different weight classes. Like, he should have more subs if he is. Like, it's similar to he reminds me, like, honestly, of like Dern, where you're just like, oh, they're fucking awesome. Like, they're clearly amazing with jiu-jitsu, but for some reason they're not finishing fucking some fish on the ground. That being said, like, I think that the durability on Burns has always been a question. Getting knocked out by a jab by Usman, not good. Showed good promise in his last fight, fighting JDM, who obviously just won last week. I think JDM broke his arm in that fight early, which was, I think, part of the reason he was able to get as many takedowns as he did. But I just think it's going to be really hard for him to get takedowns on Morales consistently. I mean, I don't know if has Morales even been taken down so far in the UFC? I didn't even look at that, but yeah, I don't think he has.
Morales has been taken down, I think, 1 time, I believe.
Okay.
In the UFC. I think it was actually, twice. Fugit and Giles.
Okay. So, I mean, the win condition for me on Burns is sub 1, sub 2. It's 49 and 50 to 1. I think this is going to be a KO 2, 3, or 4 for Morales. KO 2 is 600, 900 for 3, and 1100 for 4.
Yeah, man. I don't know. On one hand, I think, they're setting up Morales for a win. Obviously, he's young, he's undefeated. UFC loves these type of guys. But on the other hand, I I feel like this is a guy in Michael Morales that I'm not impressed with on tape. I really am not impressed with him. You know, Magny, like cage pushing, holding him on the cage for like fucking 2.5 minutes before he lands a spinning elbow. It's like whatever. Like, am I going to say that performance is great? No. Jake Matthews, he wins a decision. Does he look great in that fight? I don't think so. Max Griffin, again, a fight that doesn't look great in. You know, he's 1-1 and he wins round 3. Adam Fugit fight, a big red flag for me in that fight. He was getting hit a lot in that fight against Fugit, got taken down, was on bottom for a while in I think it was in round 1 where kind of conceded for the most part on bottom. And Fugit was landing on him, man. And now, you know, he faces Burns. The problem is, like, Burns is slower. Like, he's going to be a lot slower. Can he land takedowns? Potentially. But I do think that Morales is a good wrestler. He's probably a better, like, offensive wrestler than even JDM is. Like, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the Olympic team or for his country. Even though it's not, like, the best. But he definitely had a wrestling background. That's how he got into MMA. So, you know, and he's big. He's big. He's strong. He looks in the best shape of his career. Fuck, man. Because I wrote 2 things down here. I said Burns at plus 500 has some value to it no matter what. Like, I don't care. He's been 5 rounds. I don't think that's, like, out of the question. That's just a Lambo play there alone. But I feel like Morales wins a decision here, to be honest. I don't think he's as much of a killer as people think he is. I plus 275. That's where I see like 250, 280. I see. I think he can win a decision. Honestly, I don't think it's necessarily KO or nothing here. Like, he either gets a KO or you know, he loses the fight or something. I think he can win a decision because Gilbert Burns, in the fights where he's been knocked out, Tim, if you look at the Jack Della, it was a fucking clean knee he ate, right? Like, that fight probably goes to the scorecards a lot, right? The other one is he just completely gassed against Kamaru Usman. It wasn't so much that Usman, he was just death gassed in that fight. So when I look at him historically, is, you know, not until the Dan Hooker one, which was fucking almost 10 years ago, was the last time he kind of got like knocked out, right? So, and he's faced guys with power. Jack Della has a ton of power. He landed some very good shots on him. I don't think he was ever like really hurt in that fight, you know, outside of that knee. So, yeah, man, I think Burns just alone, money line plus 500, but Morales decision, 275. 260, whatever you can get around that area.
Yeah, I don't hate it because it's
I think it's sneaky.
Yeah, I agree. I don't hate it because, like you said, like, when has Morales covered his lines? Like where you're, you know, you're like all these lines. He's always got huge. He's always covering, like, he's always minus like 300 or whatever. Plus,
I think it's kind of everybody that I've heard is kind of like on the fight doesn't go and unders, and I think it's kind of sneaky that the fight goes here. I think Morales. Remember, you know, Morales has got to be a little careful with the takedowns. You know, he doesn't want to be on bottom against a guy like Gilbert Burns. You know, the other thing is with Morales, I'm not really sure. And no one is honestly really sure what this guy is like against defending subs.
Or even like 4-5.
Huh?
Or even in rounds 4-5. Like,
well, yeah, no, forget the round. I think his cardio is fine, but like, who has he faced that we can say his jiu-jitsu on bottom? He can, you know. He
hasn't been on bottom long enough to where it's been.
How is he? What does he do when he gets his back taken? Let's say in one instance, right? Does he know how to defend these submission? I think he's a brown belt, they say, but you know,
that's what I say. Like sub 1, sub 2 for Burns is like the he gets him down, he gets a back take, he's uber aggressive at like 49, 50 to 1 are like
It's
stupid.
fair. Yeah, I mean, it's fair. All right, Tim, we went through all 12 fights. We have the Lambo parlays. I will give mine out first. It's a watered down version. It's only 27 to 1, but we have to get on the scoreboard. That's the thing. And so I'm going to go with Gomes ITD, Dalval ITD, Arosa sub 27 to 1. And then the second one would be Gomes ITD, Dalval ITD, right? And Bellato KO23. It's like 20 to 1.
All right. Yep. All right. Yeah, I just went with Yadier 2-3, Gomes 2-3, round robin. So hopefully we get some late finishes there.
So Yadier 2-3, Gomes 2-3.
Yep.
I don't mind that.
That's anywhere between 45.
Yadier is such a madman that he can ice him early, which I'm a little bit afraid of. But yeah,
I might do one with KO, like 1-2. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst. I think if the more I think about it, your Gomes 2-3 with yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yours makes sense. All right. Thank you to everybody for joining. 460 live viewers. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you can. Tim, any parting words for the people, 460 live viewers?
Thanks as always, guys. Love you guys. Thanks to you as well, Narco, as always. And sign up for that Discord. Get that money, man. Money helps.
Dude, last week, by the way, Tim wasn't in Discord. He missed out on the absolute best live spots. We had like 4 of them last week, Tim. And you left. Tim left. I think you had your friend over or something, right?
Yeah, I was hanging with him.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to my co-host, Tim. Tomorrow, the final bell on X, on Spaces, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. My son has a jiu-jitsu tournament early in the morning. Final bell will be at 10:30 my time, which is 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. One last thing, Tim. Let's cash those tickets for UFC Vegas 106. Peace.